right. Ex-Activision employee exposes the real issue with skill-based matchmaking in Black Ops Cold War. EOMM. Oh, baby. Let's see what's wrong with this 2-year-old game.
So you beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. Now, one of my followers on Twitter, MTL514 Hostler, brought a video to my attention, but it wasn't the actual video that I was interested in. It was the individual that the video was talking about. So I went over to this particular individual who is known as Maverick GG. Now, Maverick claims to be a ex-Activision intern, and he worked on the analytical side of the game.
All right.
So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, if you do enjoy the video at any portion, please don't forget to drop a like. And if you are new here, consider subscribing with the notification bell click so you get my Call of Duty videos as soon as they are published. So Maverick left Activision.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say this. I haven't even watched this video, and we already know that engagement optimized matchmaking is not good as a casual tryhard. All right, if you look at like the skill bell curve at about the 50, once you hit the 50% mark, it doesn't feel good anymore. So that's when I would suggest to just stop playing. All right, that's my advice. But let's listen to what he's got to say.
In 2019. Now, I have no categorical proof that this guy did work for Activision. However, he does seem open enough for you to approach him on Twitter, which I will link down in the description. Here's one where you can ask him questions and see if he'll provide evidence. I'm also going to ask this question as well. So I'm just putting that disclaimer out there. But what he says in his TikTok videos makes a lot of sense, especially all of the topics that we've covered on my channel and in the Call of Duty community in the last 4 weeks or so, especially when it comes down to skill-based matchmaking and these patents. In terms of the patents, what does he talk about? Well, he kind of rules out the fact that the patent that we spoke about, which nerfs your aim in game, he doesn't believe that exists. What he says is this was done for...
Bro. So I did hear about this thing in game. I didn't know it started in Black Ops or whatever. I don't know if it started in like an earlier game or whatever, but for some reason, I don't know what exactly, some people were claiming that once you reach a high enough skill level in any Call of Duty game, the game starts to drastically / significantly reduce your accuracy of the bullets in order to give everybody else a chance. And this is in public, I guess, in public matches, I would guess, but I'm not sure if this game had a ladder or like a ranked mode, because if it happens there, even it's even more of a clown show to me. But the fact that this is even what do you call it? A point of contention in a shooting game is hilarious to me. Actually hilarious to me. I couldn't imagine playing a shooting game where there's a bullet point that is unspoken about, where the game purposely reduces your accuracy if you do better.
For PvE, specifically for Destiny, but the creators of Destiny, Bungie and Activision, parted ways, and that's why that patent was developed in 2017, but they obviously went their separate ways. So what he does say is, it seems to me that he errs on the side of, although it's PvE, it doesn't mean that it can't be implemented into the PvP portion of the game. But the thing that he touches on is the lag compensation in Call of Duty. Now, it's...
What? So is this dude claiming that the game will give you fake lag? Like, remember when what was it, Classic World of Warcraft first came out, and they thought that spell batching was a good idea in order to make it feel like WoW back in the day, because everybody that played WoW back in the day had really shitty internet connections, they just batch spells together. So there'd be instances where people would just kill each other if they were like dueling or whatever, because the spells hit exactly the same time, because that's how they would get batched. Is he stating that this happens if you get too good, we're going to start spell batching your bullets? Oh my god, what is Call of Duty doing?
It's always been an issue, but he blames the lack of investment into the actual Call of Duty engine. Now, we hear stories from Charlie Intel every year saying, quote unquote, new engine. It's not a new engine. We know, anyone that's played the game for long enough, it's a heavily modified, adapted engine, but it's still essentially the same engine we've been playing on for the last decade. It's all about saving those dollars.
Yeah, you always have to cut costs somehow, and I don't know what exactly their terms they're going to use, but as long as they change the engine with like a couple lines of code or whatever, they completely have the right to say it's a new engine or even a new version of an engine. Therefore, it's a completely new engine. But if you play COD, I haven't played COD in years, but I can just look at a COD game and just be like, what new engine? Oh my god, who actually takes Call of Duty seriously now?
At the end of the day, and not reinvesting into the game. So it's got the inherently bad netcoding that it's always had, and even more.
How is it that like fighting game developers who are, I would say, significantly smaller than any branch of Call of Duty, why do these fighting game developers have way better netcode than any Call of Duty game? Fighting, like, whenever I got really deep into fighting games, I would always hear, if like a new game came out, one of the bullet points that they would, market is like, we got this really good netcode, blah blah blah. Or what was like a really popular one? It was called like GGWP, for like GG well played, and that was like a netcode engine thing, or some company offered it to like a game, stating that there's so minimal like lag difference. Whenever you tapped a move, it would just go out whenever you verse somebody online. Maybe that's the case. Maybe since like if you play Warzone and there's so many players that get dropped, it's really hard to implement a really good netcode between so many people. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that is the case. Maybe that is the reason why, you can jump around a corner and, be completely in cover, and then because the other dude has a slower setup, he still hits you around the corner. Maybe that's why.
So the inherently bad lag compensation. So essentially what it does in layman's terms is player A, as Maverick explains, will have 50 millisecond ping. Player B will have 100 millisecond ping. So the lag compensation will give an additional 25 milliseconds to the likes of player A, and that is the lag compensation that is affecting your games mid-game as you play. It seems a bit more sinister than that to me, but that's his explanation, so we'll go with that. He says in this particular game, Black Ops Cold War, skill-based matchmaking is significantly different than it has ever been in Call of Duty.
Ooh, it's significantly different. Well, to be significantly different, you would have to know all of the stipulations in stats tracked and used in the first place. Since that's not really public knowledge, how are you going to say it's significantly different?
And he does go on to say that Call of Duty has always had skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking is a thing, but more importantly, it's engagement optimized matchmaking that he believes is the problem, and this is what we're going to really focus on for the rest of the video.
Oh yes, the coveted engagement optimized matchmaking. I've done videos on this in the past, and we all know how much fun it is. So how does that system go? It's like you can win a couple, like no, you, when you first get a game, the game's trying to figure out how good you are into like what put you into like what percentile bracket of skill, and then from that it'll it'll let you lose a couple matches, like let's say 3 or 4, and then it'll let you win one. And then maybe you can win 2. And then you're going to go on another losing streak because it just puts you in such a higher skill bracket or percentile, whatever. And then you're going to lose 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6. And then the game's going to sense, oh, we need to give this guy a win. He's just going to quit pretty soon. So you get another win. It's that carrot on a stick mentality. You can't put the carrot on too long of a stick because you just won't even want the carrot. The carrot has to be kind of, within reach, but just out of reach. You're ooh, it's right there. It's I just one more match, man. One more match. I gotta tie off. I just need that one more win, man.
So what does this engagement optimized matchmaking do? Well, it's not about the KD as most of us believe. It's not really about score per minute. It takes in a lot more things than that into consideration. The way you play, the type of gun you use, how long you play for, what time you log in at the game. Do you buy stuff from the store? Don't you buy stuff from the store? So little people like me who don't buy nothing and are boycotting the pass at the moment, that is why I'm getting these absolutely insanely hard lobbies, because I refuse to spend any additional money. So he says that there are
That's really funny with him just saying that as his experience in the game. Because he doesn't spend money, the game is just going to punish him against tryhards that most likely do spend money in the game and feel the need to, flex their $20 skin on you or whatever the case is. That's really funny because I know in Apex, they have something like that in the game. Because on my last couple days playing Apex, I just deactivate, I just put the normal default skins on, and yeah, the game couldn't help it but to put me with people that were way higher skilled than me in the game. I was getting way more Predator and Master players that had the new hottest skin out, and I was just some default character or default skin character. But meanwhile, I was on equal, if not better skilled than them. Oh, why don't you have a skin? It's because I don't want one. I'm just playing the game.
Very intelligent bunch of people, which I definitely believe, because with Activision and all the money that they have, they can invest in some of these real, nerdy people when it comes to algorithms. And we know places like YouTube have very intelligent algorithms. So is good Call of Duty, because at the end of the day, it's about the bottom line. It's about making that dollar. So this is what this EOMM is about. It's about getting people to stay longer on the game, because people who tend to play the game for longer will spend more money. This also explains why the Battle Pass actually gives you more COD points at the end to keep you coming back for the next one, and why certain guns are always overpowered. I've said it in many of my videos where this weapon is overpowered, and I've said it on my Twitter where I believe they do it on purpose. They break the game on purpose for the fact that it gets people engaging in the game, spending money. And that's the reason why some of these blueprints come out. Weapon progression is very slow.
Really? I had no idea that was a thing for Call of Duty. Is that when a blueprint comes out, is it just a new version of the gun with a couple different attachments, but they're all just set in stone? And because of it being new attachments or ones that you couldn't get ordinarily, the stats are skewed in such a way that if you were to try to make a similar gun, yours just wouldn't be as good. So, I mean, I know that was a thing in League of Legends. When a new character came out, they would purposely make it overpowered because people's first impression is the one that matters the most. And if their impression is, oh, that new gun in the store is really overpowered, I need to get that gun because there's some aspect of pay to win to it. So in order to be good, I need that gun. Give me the gun. I give you money, you give me the power. I win. I did not know Call of Duty engaged in that.
and then you get these blueprints that have the attachments that you want, you're more likely to spend the money on them. It's all about an addiction and dopamines as well. A win-loss pattern is very addictive. You know that just one more game, you've just come off the back of a loss, maybe I can win this next game. That is exactly what these guys have developed in this algorithm to manipulate you, me, and anybody else who's playing Call of Duty. You can go on a losing streak and the game will kind of be able to anticipate from your previous games, if you've played the game long enough, obviously, when you're likely to quit the game. And
what if, do you think it's possible to manipulate the EOMM in such a way that if you just pop onto multiplayer, get like 2 or 3 wins, and then the second you lose a match, you just stop playing? And then since you build up that type of pattern, do you think it's easy to manipulate the game so that once you win a couple and then you lose just once, like, do people do that? You just, oh my God, that's so funny if that's actually true.
What it will do in essence is give you a lobby which has a massively high probability that you will do well in that lobby or you will win that game. This is why we have lobbies that disband after the game finishes, because the algorithm is doing its work and seeing where you are and what it needs to do, what type of lobby it needs to place you in. So it's basically all being done to try and circumvent this new legislation that seems to be coming in many different countries. I think Belgium was the first one, and it was about loot boxes. So when we thought loot boxes were taken out of Call of Duty as a goodwill gesture from Activision, no, it was simply, as we probably knew anyway, it was simply to be ahead of the curve in terms of these new legislations coming in. So essentially what is happening in the game right now is the game is a loot box. And when I say the game is a loot box, this
is news to me because I just simply do not keep up with Call of Duty. And Activision is usually on the bleeding edge of finding new ways to psychologically manipulate its player base into buying new things for their games. So this is interesting.
Literally press start. This is what Maverick is claiming. You literally press start on the game to play a game and you're already rolling dice. It's not about how good you are. It's not about how skilled you are. The game is designed to decide for you whether you're going to win or lose, not whether you're going to win or lose based on your performances. And that's a real heartbreaking thing to hear as a big Call of Duty fan.
But conventionally, in the older, like OG Call of Duty games, it was just, I don't know how they matched people up before, like in Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, like back in the day, 2004 Call of Duties. Isn't that kind of what you were doing? You were just rolling the dice and it was up to you whether or not you would like win or lose? Isn't that essentially like what you just described? I don't know. Or maybe he's just like not explaining enough, probably.
Where you have no real control over the environment you're actually playing in. And when I did my video a few weeks back about the game manipulating you, I may not have hit the nail on the head, but I was definitely in the right ballpark when I was talking about things being manipulated against you in Call of Duty. And this guy here, Maverick, who claims to be an ex-employee, and I'm going to believe him on the basis of what I've seen him talk about, which I will link down in the description. It seems to me that is exactly what is going on in Call of Duty these days. We have no real control over whether we're going to win or whether we're going to lose in Call of Duty. It's all decided before we even start the game, because it is a far more inconspicuous system than loot boxes. And that's why we're hearing reports from people who are saying if they buy something from the store, it seems as if they are getting easier lobbies. We have been talking about patterns.
What? If you buy something from the store, you just get easier lobbies? Oh my God. Oh my god. It makes so much sense now. Oh, bro, doesn't it suck to be a Call of Duty fan? God dang. Oh my gosh. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, holy, that is hilarious.
For weeks now. Not every patent I've put on the channel, but there have been several different new patents that have been found, and it seems like they're working in cohesion as one big patent full of little patents to basically assemble this. And this is all down to one thing: making as much money as possible.
Yep.
Now, I will give credit to Maverick, as he does come out and defend the developers, and he does come out and defend the people who work for Activision, who are told this is what you need to develop for us. And he does call out Bobby Kotick. I thought I'd bring this to you guys' attention. Any portion, please don't forget to drop.
Oh, wait. So not only is Bobby taking heat from the entirety of World of Warcraft and Diablo, he is also taking heat from the COD boys. You know, like the 5,000 people left playing COD. Oh my god, this is so funny.
Like they're working in cohesion as one.
Okay, let me get back.
To develop for us, and he does call out Bobby Kotick. I thought I'd bring this to you guys' attention. Let me know down in the comment section your feelings on this. Most of you probably already knew, but it is very interesting to hear somebody speak so eloquently about it and provide some more new information. There's a few things in here I didn't know myself. Guys, there are many buttons you could hit, but a like and subscribe button, I hope they took your fancy. And as always, guys, don't forget to stay on the right track.
Dang, that was a good ass video. I like it. That was funny. I didn't know that if that's a real thing. Like, you buy stuff from the store, your next couple matches or whatever amount are just gonna be, probability wise, just easier. Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh, I am so happy I don't play COD anymore. Oh man, I couldn't imagine being like, even if I were to have kids, I would not let them play Call of Duty. I would just be like, nope, I don't care what your friends are playing, not that one, no. Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh man. But no, that was a good video. I liked it. I want to see more. I'm probably gonna watch bum around and watch some more from Tracky. That was funny. But you know, as usual, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.